Hello there, everyone. Thank you for joining us as we review episode 3 of Star Trek Lower Deck Season 5. This episode is called The Best Exotic Nanite Hotel. I am Olympus, and with me today is the magnificent
Ben Kerno. So I don't know how many times I use Ben or just Ben Kerno. I don't know. So it doesn't matter. So because we're talking about the best exotic nanite hotel, which sort of half gives some of the episode a bit of a giveaway, but not the ending that I was quite expecting. So we won't jump to that yet. We're going to get underway. If you want to find more about us, we'll be in the detail below in the comments or the information bar, which I've suddenly forgot its name. If I remember correctly, we come in, or the Cerritos comes into this, looked like a space station, but they called it an interstellar cruise ship called the Cosmic Duchess. And just that got me intrigued so much to start with, that there is this entertainment location on a orbiting a planet and that potentially moves a lot. And I know I've come across things like this in like the Star Trek Adventures role playing game, and you have corpse and you have other bits like the planet from Picard or the city, which I forgot what the name is. But and you might be able to helpfully correct me on that one. But absolutely love this. Was various climate zones, theme parks, and casinos. Any
and it's the size of a moon, which just
yes,
took me straight to Star Wars and Death Star vibes.
oh, definitely
Unfortunately, no super weapon on this one that we know of.
very true. Not that we know of, but yeah, reasonably big. I was going to look up the size of the moon or the Earth's moon and a couple of the other ones in the solar system, but I completely forgot. But it doesn't matter. And yeah, there is a game in Star Trek Adventures that does have a entertainment thing that appears in it. It doesn't have various different habitats, which or it does have different habitats, but not in the same way this does. Lots of different areas, including Dixon Hill slot machines and an underwater dry park, which Mariner's got no idea what it is. I've got no idea what it is. You got any thoughts on what it is?
Not the foggiest. No, no clue.
No, fair enough. Sounded cool. There, we find the crew, or not the crew, the lower decks crew, ready to go on this mission, and they're all looking forward to it so much. And then Boimler gets taken away from the group to go on this secret mission. Any thoughts on that?
Yes. It's intriguing, it's suspicious, it's exciting for Boimler, this undercover operation that he's been asked to jump on board and support Ransom with, and Billups. And it looks like he's going to have a bit of fun to begin with, doesn't he, when he's at the shuttle pod getting organised. And then, of course, he sees Per Jet.
Oh, yeah, and had some sort of injury from some load of bats coming out from underneath a rock. So that was an interesting thing, and that just puts Bodmer on edge for the whole episode. From not yeah, from being his normal self, he's got this extra thing throughout the episode on his mind, which is playing havoc with it, which I'm sure we'll get more into. But actually, what did you think of the shuttle
I'm
that's going?
sorry, I was just going to say that the funny thing about Boimler this episode as well, the previous couple of episodes, we see him trying to emulate other Boimler from the other universe. In this episode, you don't see that, apart from his obvious stubble.
Yeah.
His mannerisms and whatnot are much more original Boimler that we're used to seeing. What were you asking me about the shuttle?
What did you reckon of the shuttle there? Any thoughts?
All I remember thinking is, oh, that's interesting. I kind of like that with the colours on it, and that's it. I don't remember much else about it.
No, the colours I liked and very interesting. It probably reminds you of a football club probably about an hour away from where you are, but it reminds me of a football club
Mm-hmm.
about 20 minutes from where I am, half an hour Plymouth Argyle, so it's like the green and the white there. There was a bit of grey in there as well, but it just made me think of my local, oh, not necessarily my local
I've actually
football team.
got two. I've got two football teams in opposite directions of me by about an hour that I can think of for the green and white.
Oh, true. You
Seems to be
got,
quite a
yes, you've got
popular
the other
colour.
one. Yeah, I forgot
Yes,
about that one.
I've got the Edinburgh. I've got the Edinburgh one, and I've got the Glasgow one.
Yeah, no, but yeah, I think of the Plymouth one, so I think that's probably it for that. But makes me think. But the front actually reminded me of a Romulan ship. Um, Not just the Dodera decks. The front of the Dodera decks was that like window, but there's shuttles as well, like you saw in DS9, and just wondered if they done by similar designers or something like that. At least the front bit,
Maybe, or at least took some inspiration from them, very possibly.
definitely.
And then tell me if I'm jumping, but at that point, I think we switch back over to Mariner and Co. As they're about to beam down to the planet on their mission. And who appears but the big question mark that's been over our heads since the end of a season or so ago? Benefar acting as if her and Mariner are still a couple, and that was extremely interesting, and and definitely raised eyebrows. And obviously, Mariner instantly is kind of like, "What the moots is going on here?" As they were sort of beaming out. So yeah, that's the sort of curveball, I guess, that sort of sets the tone for the rest of the episode in that side of the plot.
Yeah, and I might go a bit more into detail with that later, but to go into that, I I thought what, and because they weren't saying how much time had passed right until towards the end, but in my head it was like, hang on, this was ages ago. They had been split
Yeah, it
up for
was.
ages, and I was going, why is this coming on all of a sudden? And they're going, presuming this what I was expecting shenanigans, and personally, I think it could have been
I like.
told better. Gone.
No, I like that they brought this up and rounded this story off, because it's if in terms of plot holes, this was a big one for me in the seasons. So I'm just happy that they addressed it. We can get into more detail about that further into the episode we go, but it was a very fun addition to the episode for sure.
No, definitely. Yeah, we'll get more into that later. I do have opinions on it, but I think it was well done after that. So next time we see them at the location, we don't see them that group at the lower decks until we see them trying to find the nanobots or nanobot infection that's going around the station, because we got a little bit of a brief glimpse early on of where it happened. But we have Lynn starting off as like, I didn't realise you had a girlfriend, and they're going through all the thing, and as well as realising we wanted to call this, or somebody wanted to call this Glumpus. Most of this entailed discussions about Mariner's love life that she didn't realise she had.
Well, of course it did, didn't it? I mean, that was a juicy gossip happening in the moment, eh? So, of course, we're going to latch onto that, especially considering how friendly they all are and how much they love to rib each other. And I just love some of Talin's comments as we're going through. Just that sly Vulcan sarcasm is phenomenal to watch. I really, really enjoy watching that. And seeing Mariner squirming a bit and trying to get to grips with why she's in this situation with Jennifer that she's in now, is good fun. And it all comes to realization, doesn't it, when we discover that actually she had never broken up with Jennifer directly. She just decided to ignore her and pretend like it never existed and assumed that that would be totally fine. and
Yeah.
obviously it's not.
Not.
Yeah, we're all in a situation where we're very convinced that Jennifer is in total belief that this relationship is still ongoing. And it leads to some fun shenanigans in the coming sort of 15-20 minutes.
Yeah. It did add to that. Okay, I found some of it a little bit awkward in occasions, but generally it got conversations out of this and the fun conversation you would have between friends possibly, and yeah, Tillin being really, really good, and assumptions are anathema to communication, which I like that quote so much with her, just being so formal wordings like with it, like not short, short. It's a Vulcan short to the point, but not a human short and to the point.
And the other thing that I loved while we're talking about Lynn, we discover her love for a certain type of music and a particular musician, which isn't something that you would expect the Vulcan to love. Is that kind of genre, and I love how they play on that a little bit later on as well. So we'll get onto that again in a little bit, but that was a lovely little sort of snippet into Tillin's character, who very much for me in the last couple of episodes has become a dedicated part of that lower decks crew. It's no longer the lower deckers of the 4; it's the 5 now. We're including Tillin, at
Oh,
least in my eyes.
yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. And yeah, no, finding out about the musician was great. I'm really trying to find his name in my notes because I have not got that in my head yet. But it was good. Was that poster next to him and next to them, and Mariner presuming it was just a load of rubbish and realising it's somebody's favourite music.
Yeah,
So
again, these funny little snippets just make the show.
definitely. Okay, so let's go back off to the A team, or not the two bridge crew and Theory, the bridge crew and uh, Boimler in the Riser Bar, which I like the name as just a themed bar. It's like probably going to somewhere abroad and going, here's the Irish bar in my head, and it was just like fun. And they were trying to find
Yeah,
the Admiral there, so it was, and they got into a bit of a. This is the first sign you see of Boimler really not concentrating, and it's affecting his work when we get to see the various species around there. Any thoughts?
yeah, it was good to see Boimler tripping up and realizing that he is overthinking these situations. Us as a viewer, I mean, realizing that he's overthinking these situations because he's scared of being thrown into the deep end and Ransom using him as cannon fodder. So that I really, really like. And keep me honest here, this undercover mission is to find an AWOL admiral
Yeah,
who's landed himself somewhere on this planet ship or moon ship. And is basically he's told Starfleet to moopsie off, and he's doing his own thing.
yeah,
Um,
that's
so
about it. Yeah,
so
that's some
it's
sort.
brilliant. So anything else for me to add to that?
So
No, I don't think so. I knew what was coming. That's what I was going to say. When Ransom says, "Go speak to those scary-looking aliens over there," and Boyne was like, "Oh, I'm not going near them. I'll talk to the nice, friendly trio of aliens over here playing netball. They look really friendly." I knew that that would just go horribly wrong, and
yeah,
it did spectacularly
it did.
in proper Boimler fashion.
And I forgot what species it was, like Boimler did, because he was concentrating on what's wrong. If I've got the species right and not muddled them, was the other ones the Cretaceans, um, who appeared in Enterprise
Yep.
series, and uh, Jonathan Archer could not do anything right with them. Some of it's his own fault. Some of it maybe not quite as much, and it was just always upsetting them with things he did that seemed normal, or even letting his dog run free, Porthos. But yeah,
Was that the episode where Porthos pees on a tree?
yes, that's one of the one of them. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, that's brilliant.
and it's yeah. Boimler would know that. Any of the lower decks crew would know who these are and would probably even know that in theory, but that's the thing he doesn't know. And we ended up finishing on the ransom, getting them out of there and going. There's a dark, tall mountain, or there's a tall, huge, dangerous mountain up there, and that's where we got to head. So you have them climbing that off screen. So
You do indeed. And then, keep me honest, we flip back to Mariner and the lower deckers with Jennifer trying to capture this nanite blob. And at this point, Mariner has talked Jennifer. She was going to tell her that the relationship is over when, before she can get that out, Jennifer reveals that she's leaving the Cerritos and this is her very last mission. So Mariner grasps onto that opportunity with both hands. Yes, I don't need to have a difficult conversation. Yes, I can just pretend for one mission that everything's hunky-dory and we're still in a relationship, and then she can swan off to her new ship and I don't need to worry about it anymore. And again, it's a recipe for self-sabotage and utter disaster as she starts trying to do things to accelerate the mission to get rid of Jennifer faster.
yeah. So you end up feeding the energy cell, which is under this old-fashioned cartoon type trap, so that was something under a box to fall on top of.
It's not even Acme worthy.
True, very true. And you have the rest of them go, oh, please be careful. And yeah, this is, I thought this was earlier, but this is where you have Tlynn's finding out her favourite musician, or us finding out Tlynn's favourite musician, and they play the vibe tubes, which I presume they give off certain vibes to people. Is my presumption of my headcanon with this. And they end up, after this, capturing this, it breaks out, which we knew, or in my head, I knew this was going to happen. It was going to go boom, it was going to run away somehow, because I was thinking, they need to secure that now before it gets away. And it's like, but we won't have an episode if it doesn't escape. And it jumps over this hover golf cart, and we have a chase through, or at least the start of a chase through the streets. I'm not trying to work out where this is themed after the streets. I was thinking it was a combination of Spain and Italy, but I'm not 100% sure. But
it reminded me, to keep it Star Trek oriented, it reminded me a little bit of Bajor.
Oh, actually, maybe
just
yes.
Just the colours and the way that the streets were laid out reminded me a little bit of the side streets of Bajor.
Yeah, it definitely could be. Yeah, maybe it's because it's not quite sandy, dusty.
Maybe.
Again, there was green parts of that. I'm thinking of Star Trek Online a bit, but no. But yeah, no, I think I get where you mean. But my head went to like a continental Europe, Mediterranean area with that. Maybe even I've seen stairs like that in Prague as well, going more Central European. But yeah, it was nice. Then we had Boimler climbing a mountain. Not Kirk, but Boimler climbing a mountain.
Yeah. I don't have much to say about him climbing up it.
Oh, we don't see him. We just see the top
quickly.
Yeah,
you just see it at the top where they're climbing up, and he's done in, and then Ransom flings him towards the sort of Denobulan
skiing.
officer
Yeah.
who's getting ready to ski down the slope because she'll know where the admiral is. And you see her heading towards a nice, easy slope. And he's
Called.
thinking, oh, this will be great. I can follow down. That's no problem. And then she decides to route herself last minute into the extreme zone. What did they call it? Expert's demise. That's what it was.
Yes,
The
that's
expert's demise.
opposed to Carriage Coach,
Yes.
which was interesting.
Um, I love both of those names very much. So, yeah, again, I kind of saw it coming. It was predictable, but it was equally funny. Boimler grabbing onto the alien's back as he's flying down
Thing Homer
the
Simpson.
hill, asking for help.
Yeah, it reminded me of Homer Simpson going down the ski resort there. It was just yeah, this is Simpson style. Yeah, and yeah, where else would
Yeah,
you?
I bet the
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, sorry, I was just going to say, so when he was holding on to the alien's back, though, and it was just such a funny exchange. The guy's like, you're grabbing onto my genitals, and Boimler's like, why are they on your back? And he goes, where would they? Where else would they be?
Precisely, it's like
It's so
yeah,
true.
why we found that in one of the films, and really, if you think about it, why would an alien keep them in exactly the same place as humans? Not even
Yeah, exactly.
not even all
Um,
animals on the Earth do that. Keep them in the same place. So, um,
yeah. So, no, that was really good fun. And the end when he falls off the cliff and lands with the splodge, and then Zenobia comes over, and she's just like, oh, how did you survive that? I've never seen anyone fall off that cliff and survive. Again, yeah, just really funny one-liners throughout the sequence that just keep bringing back what Lower Decks is really, really good at. Even though some of these sequences in this episode are predictable, it was still very enjoyable to watch.
yeah, it's about the story, not the how you get there. It's not the yeah, it's about the story, not the destination. Oh yeah, not the destination. So, and yeah, this is another one where Boimler's not really concentrating, or he's not used to undercover work, one of the two, and it's like gives away that he's spent it all on spaceships with Starfleet, so which ends up having the Denoblin disappear. A, nice to see a Denoblin again, and B, at least they managed to find out the communications of where our little admiral is. So, and then we went back to a chase, or not the chase for the admiral, but the chase for
The Nanites.
yeah. So this crashed into a theatre, um, and then yeah, you have that argument of between them who teams up. You do have that back and forth, which was interesting between Mariner and Jennifer, which was fun. I probably remember. I don't. We didn't do a recording for previous Lower Decks, but it was nice. It's nice to see aliens or humans use having names that are from other cultures or originally from other cultures, um, like Jennifer being a Earth name and her being Andorian. And at some point, I would love to see like a human with like a Vulcan name. I know we got Spock who's half human, and B'Elanna Torres who's half Klingon and half human. So that's cheating. But when you have a full, oh, it's not going to necessarily be a full one, but another name that would be nice. Then you have them trying to work out how to find it. And any thoughts?
No.
I'm trying not to rattle my paper because I'm trying to look back if we do have. because I'm jumping ahead of
No,
myself.
it's okay. I'm trying not to jump too far ahead, but I guess it doesn't matter if we do or not, because at the point that they're trying to work out where the nanite thing is, Mariner and Jennifer get into this argument, which leads to them not seeing the nanite thing latch onto a power supply grow bigger again, at which point it becomes, what was the term? A deca something.
I said Decaron, which in my head it's a D20.
Exactly that. That's what I saw when I saw it. I was like, that's a D20.
Yeah.
um,
Which,
and
looking up, it is another 20-sided thing.
yeah,
I had to double check that just in case, but it was just like, yeah, it was like,
it's
yeah,
basically turned itself into a giant D20, which is ironic, actually. That links to something at the very end of the episode. I'll get back to that later. But this giant D20 now starts rolling around with a mind of its own and absorbs the rest of the away team, with the
yeah,
exception of Mariner and Jennifer.
yeah.
Um,
We're just about to. Jennifer was about to say, "Want to admit you're presumably broken up," but we didn't get to find that. We'll find that out in a minute, but it's in the story of this. But yeah, it was an interesting. It's lower decks. It's a bit more fun, even though I can't imagine that happening in most of the other series. Other than maybe if they could do it in a TOS, they probably would. But
yeah, they get away with a little bit extra, seeing as it's an animated show with a bit more humor, and that's another thing I love about it. They can get away with doing more and being a bit more creative and a bit more wacky, a little bit more silly.
yeah, yeah, I love it, and I think something that's almost that is three people going down this river, lazy river, in tires basically, and it's like floating down. In theory, they will get to their destination in 15 minutes at this leisurely place, and yeah, Bond was trying to get.
Allegedly, the pace that Boimler thinks is getting quite choppy.
Yeah, I think this is his way of trying to get out of Dodge, or what he thinks is Dodge. So it's
Yeah.
thing is, and then you get to that split. I don't know if you saw the signs, what were on the signs when you watched this, but I know because I've seen it at least twice, and once where I was stopping at a few bits, but there was three signs, one saying private for like that little cave area, and then there was two was like watermarking. So there was one was like three straight lines, and then there was one set to the left, and then there was one with like three wavy lines to the right through the cave. And it was just like, obviously for this, there when you do down there, you can go for the more challenging route, or the more. No, I'm not going to say fun, but the more intense route, and then you can go have more the relaxation route on the left.
Yeah. Yeah, which is nice. Again, it throws in some of that sort of water park vibe. And of course, again, you've got Boimler and Ransom get into an argument. Billups in the background, guys, be quiet. You should really be quiet. And then they get surrounded by the Admiral's lackeys. All of their little rubber thingy rings get deflated. And yes, that's them captured and being carted off to the top secret location they were trying to find.
Which is gets them to the location. Yeah, gets them there, even if it's not on their own rules, by their own way, it gets them there to called AWO Falls, which is a Latinum elite guest experience. Which at least one of them, the Admiral, I think he says he's a Latinum elite member, and it's just like, yeah, it plays on those things from if not the past, nowadays, where it's like you can have a higher experience if you pay a little bit more.
Yeah,
So
capitalism, my friend, capitalism. Yes. So I think we cut at that point back over to Mariner and Jennifer chasing after the D20 as it's running riot through the streets, absorbing everything in its path, including people, including Lynn's favorite musician.
Yeah.
Causing all sorts of chaos.
Like it comes
Um,
back for the musician and the people I believe in this ice cream. It's not an ice cream cart, but it's an ice cream van. So that goes past
It just drives
them.
straight past, and they're like, "Oh, we're safe. That's fine." Then it comes back. It's like, "Oh, wait, I missed you." Boom. Um, and of course, you get that bit then when the two of them are up the tree while the D20's off rampaging around, and the truth comes out. Jennifer's actually just winding her up and trying to force her to confess that she hadn't broken up with her. Just doing a bit of kind of Mariner level manipulation play really there. But they finally start communicating, which is the whole point of their plot in this episode. It's about how they weren't communicating and how things were going wrong. As soon as they start communicating, things turn around and things start going right again.
Yeah, I have absolute love the communication between these two characters, Jennifer and Mariner. I don't necessarily like how they did it, but it wasn't necessarily a letdown for the episode because this interaction was, yeah, as you said, really good. Them having a talk. This is a tame X's argument between each other, and as the Star Trek goes, this was I like this one on there on the level of split ups. Split ups go. Going back to the fun, I like where the D20 was going back and forth behind them. You could every so often you would see the D20 go back and forth, and I think
Almost like someone was rolling it.
yeah, it's. I can't remember if they said this on the tree or up on the back up on the ship, but they were saying this was chaotic. That made me think of a D&D term, and it's like as
Yeah,
well.
chaos.
Yeah, but I think before we go back to them sorting out the plan of how they're going to stop this, I think we should go back up to AWOL Falls, in my opinion.
Rack on.
Yeah, so you have them being all chained up, and you have them offered drinks, and you have them going. If you want to get away from the brass of Starfleet, this is the place to hang out. This is where you should be, um, which was quite interesting. And then you have the Admiral wanting a word with Boimler, private conversation. I presume they can see he is the possibly the weaker of the three of them, or they think they got a better chance of getting information out of him. I say we. I think it's him, just him. You come into this. I think it's almost Aztec in looking. I think it's Aztec. It's one of the other South American ancient civilizations, which I'm not very good on. My South American and Central American history is non-existent or barely existent. Um, but you have them in there, which has a swimming pool in the middle. You can see where the chairs, deck chairs, or not deck chairs, but where you can sit down beside the pool. And it looks like a four pillar bed at the end there, and you get the Admiral. Okay, you can see him putting suntan lotion out, and you can see Barrington been wearing glasses, which was like an interesting look. And it's so if you I don't think we ever see anybody who's got tan lines. If you can correct me on that, please do. But I don't recall. Do you have anything to say before we get on to the temptation of Boimler?
The Admiral took me by surprise in terms of his mannerisms, a bit wacky. and a bit, I can't really think of the right word, but he wasn't what I was expecting. It becomes more apparent later on when you realise or you discover why he's hating Starfleet as much as he is, which we'll get to shortly. But yeah, I was a little bit. I know you said there have been points that Steph said you haven't quite agreed with. I was on board with everything up to this point. It was this bit with the Admiral that's the first time I kind of went, oh, okay. But it all works out and it makes sense in the grand scheme of things.
No, fair enough. To be honest, I think this was all right in my head. He was a bit strange, but some of the characters in Lower Decks are just a bit strange, and I think that even some of the top brass have issues occasionally. It's like whether they get sent on rubbish missions or having their frustrations. It's a version of a bad rule, but done in the Lower Decks way. In my head, it's
Yeah.
So, eventually he takes him out, and because he was sent to all the bad missions, basically looking after space whales and just feeding them, and it wasn't
milking space whales is the term he uses, isn't it?
Yeah, which was which was sounded. He's probably not doing it justice, but sounded a bit weird.
Intergalactic dairy farmer, I think, came up.
Yes, it does. And he manages to persuade Boimler with his insecurities, to come along and help him and have a drink at the side. But it wasn't until Ransom, and to a degree Phillips, say what they appreciate about him. Okay, I think they're semi-forced to say that because they're in that circumstances, or at least was Ransom anyway.
Yeah, but I think Ransom was actually being genuine. I do get your point, but the impression I got was genuine, which was very nice, and it did what it needed to do as well. It got Boimler back on board. He became himself again. He wasn't overthinking. He wasn't overcomplicating anything, and he succeeded in freeing his two colleagues in the most Boimler way he possibly could.
Yeah. So there was that. Oh, juice himself up with santan oil.
Yeah.
So he can slip out everybody's grips, blind the Admiral, well, at least temporarily anyway, and get the cuffs off the people there who, after a bit of a kick, and go, actually, I'm not here to kill these people. I'm here because I want to be here. This is not my vibe. And they all went off and had their merry way. And to be honest, you're probably right when you were saying about Ransom going, he does believe what he's saying and he does think of that. But I think that might make Ransom even more dangerous. He knows the ability of some of his crew, and he's prepared to, like the command test you see Diana Troy take in TNG, prepared to send people to die potentially. Which is
that's the joys of commando, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, I suppose. Which you've got to be prepared. I've never been there, but I probably know a few people who have, or met a few people who have. Not that I've ever discussed it or knowing them well enough to discuss it. But that's the case of you've got the potential that somebody's going to die under your command, or get injured in the Star Trek way when it comes to it. So back on a more cheerful note.
So we're going back to Marin and Jennifer, aren't we? And their solution, with the help of Rutherford, who manages to get a signal through to Mariner's comm badge, to dismantle the nanites, which succeeds. They get hold of the musical instrument. What was it called again? The vibe something?
The vibe pipes.
the Vibe Pipes. They get hold of the Vibe Pipes. Jennifer and Mariner jump in, get absorbed by the D20. That's what I'm calling it now. It's a giant D20 forever now. Um, yeah, they get Lynn to play her favorite instrument, which reverberates across the nanites and basically demolishes it in a wave of grey liquid. And hooray, they are sorted. But what do they discover, Ben, when they're scanning through everything afterwards?
They find something that's controlling them. They're not lots of little nanoboats, but it's one thing, and that's the USS Endeavour and Intrepid class starship, captained by Captain Tarsal. What was that, Tarsal? I can't read my writing. He manages to send out a message, and it's like they've been in the month of hell, which I love that it's a play on the year of hell.
The year of hell, yeah.
And they
That was my
kept,
favourite phrase in the episode, month of hell, because one
yeah,
of them actually goes, month of hell.
it is.
um, and it's tiny. It's like microscopic size. So this crew and this ship have come from another dimension. So
Yeah.
this is the first link we've had to these
As the captain
dimensional
said,
potholes.
some sort of parallel universe fissure that I don't think they're quite sure 100% what it is. Sorry for
Yeah,
interrupting you.
no, it's fine. But it's these potholes that we saw firsthand with the Cerritos in the first episode. So this is the first time it's come up again, which tells me I think you had the theory in our previous review that this would be continuing on this theme. So it looked like you're right. I mean,
Yeah,
end of this episode, and it's come up again. So that's interesting. It will be interesting to see how that all starts coming together. If our lucky admiral, who no longer needs to milk the space whales because he's found a new project, can manage to get them home or not,
who
and
knows?
how it fits into the bigger picture for the overarching story of season 5.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see how that fits in, and if they bring that back or get them back, that's an interesting story if they can. Um, but one thing we want to finish off was they finished off with was a 10D given to Lynn a pad of some sort with some graffiti on it or something.
Graffiti. It was the
A
guy's
defaced image.
signature. Be nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the guy's signature, which she didn't find very scientific, but she kept for study later. Wink,
He
wink.
clearly loved it.
Yeah. And you had the farewell of Jennifer and Mariner, so like saying goodbye and potentially happy ever after with them.
And and you have Ransom searching for Jet at the very end for a new away mission because Jet loves the dangerous stuff, and poor Jet trying to run away as fast as he can and
Yeah,
hide behind the bar counter. The poor guy. Don't know what Ransom has in for him.
I don't know.
But that was funny.
So to round up, uh, I was unsure about, or I didn't really like how they put in the romance for Jennifer and Mariner, but the story was how the discussion they had was really good. Um, I love Boimler's arc in this, where we found him being unsure of what the command were trying to do with him, but actually found out that he is a good officer and they think he is a good person for certain roles. Any thought?
I mean, yeah. For me, I actually did like how they introduced both of the plots in this episode. I liked how they delivered all of them. I thought they hit the nail on the head in every single point, and it was all very typical Lower Decks. So it was a 5 out of 5 for me. Brilliant episode. I was giggling through it, and it felt very Star Trek at its core, with a lovely little twist at the end with the little intrepid Calas from another dimension that is teeny tiny. Did not see that coming. So yeah,
No.
it was a lovely episode, and it's left me very eager for the next one.
Yeah, I would say 4 out of 5 for me. Out of 5, loved it. Agree with you. So, can I say thank you for watching, and may the force be. Oh, wrong podcast. Live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper, everyone. Take care. See you soon.
See you soon.